Ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2 predictions preview. We're about to hop right on into that thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can find me on Twitter at TooSweetPod, at OMG Corey B. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, on YouTube as well, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button to be notified of every video that I make. So, how we're going to do this thing right here, we're going to jump into the title matches. Then we're going to work our way back from that. The world title matches. And then we're going to work our way back from there. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to try to leave some time stamps in the preview so you can just click and go as you please. First up, we got Bobby Lashley, we got Drew McIntyre, and you want to talk about a match, a build that I was very interested in, that it took only 5 seconds for me to lose interest. It is this one. Lashley wins the title, and I'm like, okay. Got Lashley versus Lesnar, or maybe Lashley versus Drew. We get Lashley versus Drew. I'm excited, and then they throw King Corbin into the mix. Like, no, I'm not interested in that at all, man. Like, we could have done a million things. We could have kept the Hurt Business together. That's what we could have did, bruh. But we got Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. We got King Corbin in the mix, and I'm like, I'm not interested. We'll see how that plays out. But nevertheless, Lashley versus Drew McIntyre the winner. We have a lot of people saying, well, this will be Drew McIntyre's chance to get a win in front of the crowd, a championship reign in front of the crowd. I get that, but Lashley has all the momentum here. Lashley walked into WrestleMania and out of WrestleMania, your world champion. Moving on, we got Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, and another storyline that I've lost interest in so much, man. When they made this match, I said, okay, the most interesting match on the card, the best match on the card. It's going to be the best match on the card, but it's lost so much pizzazz, so much steam. Reggie was involved, and I just don't like the whole idea of Bianca Belair waiting to destroy Sasha Banks. Like, I get it. You wanted to get to WrestleMania from a kayfabe perspective. Nevertheless, I don't like it because the feud needs to be picked up after the momentum has been lost. Nevertheless, your result, Bianca Belair is winning this. We got the legend that's established, that's had the long title reign. You know how that goes at WrestleMania. The young up-and-comer is supposed to win this one, and the young up-and-comer will be EST of WWE. Bianca Belair will win the Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship at Mania. Moving on. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, and I'm not here to say that this has been a bad build, but Roman Reigns versus Edge was the build. Like, the story of Edge overcoming the old guy, the face overcoming, looking to take down the big bad evil Roman Reigns, that was a better story than what we're getting so far. And that's not been a bad story. Look, I love Daniel Bryan. He has done some really good things to build up this matchup. Nevertheless, I really don't like where Edge is. Bitter beer-faced Edge. Like, I want the Edge that they could have just had him say, you know what? I don't like that it's going to be a triple threat, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to win anyway. That's all they have to have him say. Nevertheless, this one is a little tougher than I previously thought. Like, Daniel Bryan is not winning here. Even though I think that, you know what? The face should overcome in situations like these. I think Daniel Bryan should win the match, but as for who will win the match, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. Like, I've been saying all year long, Roman Reigns should lose that title at WrestleMania. He needs to lose the title at WrestleMania. That's where the big victory comes. But you know what? Yeah, I am going to go with Roman Reigns to pick up the victory, ladies and gentlemen. Nevertheless, we move. And we move to Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. And man, when this match got made, like, it felt like WrestleMania. It was one of the very few things are about the build of WrestleMania so far that felt like WrestleMania. This felt like WrestleMania, and we had Asuka getting taken out, and now a tag match has been made. I didn't like that, but nevertheless, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, this is on the docket for showstopper of the night. This could still a whole show. And this is a situation to where both ladies need to win. Rhea Ripley lost to Charlotte last year at WrestleMania when she should have won. Asuka lost to Charlotte Flair, go figure, when she should have won. She hasn't had a really big WrestleMania win on her resume. So here's my deal. Here's what should happen. Asuka should win this matchup. She deserves it much more than Rhea Ripley does. She's been on the main roster. Look at her title reign so far, man. It's been nothing. She deserves a WrestleMania win. But here's what will happen. Asuka will get the screw job at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley, they're gonna go with Rhea Ripley. Now, I don't know if Charlotte is gonna be added to this match or not. We'll see. But even if she is, Rhea Ripley is about to get the pin over Asuka. To which I hate that, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Rhea Ripley, your winner at WrestleMania. So we move to Bad Bunny versus Miz. It's been an interesting build because at first I was sold that it was going to be a tag team match. Damian Priest, Bad Bunny, The Miz, Morrison, and out of nowhere we're getting a one-on-one match. And word has it, from Triple H, that Bad Bunny has relocated to near the Performance Center. He is taking this really seriously, and clearly they have enough trust in him where they're just going to let him go out and have a singles match. And you can ask for a better opponent than The Miz to carry someone. So I expect this to be a fairly interesting and fun matchup, where we look at the matchup and we say, man, the celebrity really did really well on that one. So obviously Bad Bunny gets the win here. The match is going to be pretty interesting. I'm excited for it, and we'll see how it turns out. Moving on, we move. So Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Now, this is another one, candidate for show stealer of the weekend, and two guys that are two of the best wrestlers of this entire era. The build, I've liked this build. Cesaro has been shaming Seth Rollins left and right, swinging him left and right. Seth Rollins does not like it. And you know what? I don't like you. You don't like me. Let's fight. Let's get it on. That's all it takes. No titles needed. No titles involved. But as for your winner here, look, Cesaro needs this one a whole lot more than Seth Rollins does. Seth Rollins, I mean, goodness, he's had many victories at WrestleMania. Obviously, the craziest victory of them all, running down the heist of the century, as Michael Cole would say. So Cesaro needs this one, and Cesaro will get the win here, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. And I gotta say that I was upset about this at first. Like, I didn't think the tag titles need to be taken off of the Hurt Business, but you see how that went down. And as for the build so far, it got kind of hokey for me. Like, I didn't like it, but the one thing that sold me instantly, Omos started wrecking shop. The big man got involved and started throwing people around. There's nothing more entertaining than a big dude just beating the crap out of people. It's kind of like Mark Henry, the House of Pain. It was entertaining, man. You loved it. You loved the Hall of Pain, excuse me. It was very entertaining. So that's what we have with Omos here. The dude can really move around in that ring. Did you see how fast he was? Nevertheless, this is what needs to go down here. This is another should, and what will happen. What should happen is that, look, AJ Styles and Omos, it's his first big match. Go with it. Let him be a tag team champion. Why not? I say why not? That's what should happen, and you know what? That's what will happen in my estimation. I know the New Day, that would be a reign where, they just got the titles and it's pretty much a transitional reign, but they've had like 10, 11 titles. It wouldn't hurt them at all to lose this matchup. We're going to the end of night one, Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman, and absolutely no one cares about this. And I'm sorry, as he said, we had green slime involved, and like, who cares, man? Who really cares at this point, man? Like, we have a steel cage match, so Shane is going to jump off some stuff. He's going to do something crazy, so that's entertaining in itself. The match result is not in question. Braun has been getting antagonized this whole feud. He's been getting called stupid this whole feud, which, hey, that's kind of funny. But Braun Strowman will pick up the victory here. And I think the only intrigue here is to see what is Shane gonna jump off of. Like, okay, maybe the ref gets like out and they get outside the cage somehow. I don't know, but we'll see what kind of crazy spot that Shane McMahon does. We'll find out. Moving on, The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. The Fiend is back, and I want to talk about another feud where I really lost my interest in. Like, Bray Wyatt comes back and he's burnt Bray Wyatt. He's Cajun style Bray Wyatt. And look, Bray Wyatt is trying to do it again. He's trying to revive himself. He's trying to revive his dead character. Like, he's done this throughout all of the years. WWE would miss the boat with him. He'd just come back and do something. He'd be back on the road. And I think that he's not going to be able to do it this time. I'm not interested in this Fiend character. We need another tweak. Nevertheless, stuff with Randy Orton, stuff with Alexa Bliss, they really lost me with this one. Like, I ain't interested. Not interested. And it's just lost its momentum that it previously had. Nevertheless, I think the result here, you have to go with Bray Wyatt. I understand that Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss has been getting one over on Randy Orton for quite some time, but you can't have The Fiend come back and lose the big match. It'll be classic Bray Wyatt if they had to come back and lose the big match. So The Fiend gets the victory here as we move. We move to Big E versus Apollo Crews. And I gotta say, this has been an interesting build. We got a Nigerian drum match coming up, and that's fancy terms for no disqualification. This has been a fun feud, and I think it's now or never for Apollo Crews. Like, either you're doing it, either you're serious about building them up, or you're not. And he goes back to, I don't want to say back to catering, but back to the back of the line. So I think this is going to be an excellent match. Another candidate for show stealer of the weekend. Apollo Crews picks up the victory here, ladies and gentlemen. As we move, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And you know, I don't like the premise of all of this. Like, this whole conspiracy stuff with Sami Zayn is just not interesting to me. Under any other circumstances, if you have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, like, that's one of the main matches of the card. You think about that as one of the best matches on the card, and it could be one of the better matches on the card. It's just the build just is interesting. We got Logan Paul involved, and I'm like, we don't need him in this. Nevertheless, who's your winner here? I'm going to go with the face. I'm going to go with Kevin Owens to pick up the victory, hit the stunner. I don't know how Logan Paul is going to be involved in this as pertains to WrestleMania. We'll see. I definitely think that, you know, they're not going to have him on a SmackDown and just have him disappear and not appear at WrestleMania. Nevertheless, we move to the last matchup of the night. Riddle versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. Matt out here forgetting this alliance. Riddle, nevertheless, they had an awesome matchup on Raw. Like, I really like what they got into, and you know what? That set this up, and Sheamus, the shame us, deserves something here. Like, he's been one of the MVPs of Raw. Whether it's the matches with Lashley or the matches with McIntyre, the dude has been workhorsing all like for weeks now, and he deserves to be rewarded. And you know what? He will be rewarded with the United States Championship at WrestleMania. Shame us picks up the victory. So that is it. It is the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. It is. We are days and days away. It is this week. WrestleMania is here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think at OMG or on YouTube as well. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. Let me know your thoughts on WrestleMania.